Hello, this is Fred Haight, and welcome to part two. In some ways, part three, since part one was divided into two, but we're going to call it part two of what is classical. What do we mean when we call something classical? And today we're going to focus on one of the subjects established in the last section, polyphony, which is simply Greek for many voices, and especially the case of the round or simple canon. Most popular forms of music comprise a simple line of music with a simple accompaniment. And though poetry demonstrates that a one line of music or verse can be extremely ironic, it usually isn't in most popular music. And polyphony, many voices, gives us a potential for irony that lies between those voices. You know many rounds from your childhood: Frcc2, row, row, row your boat. I will demonstrate today that there is a difference between the simple round and the simple canon that is a difference in the realm of creativity and science. On the surface, they seem to be the same. Both of them can be expressed as a single line of music, a melody of sorts. In the case of the simple canon, each voice is singing exactly the same thing, and each voice enters at a specific point from the other voices. They're staged along the way in their entrances. I will start with the simple round that most of us suffered through somewhere along the line in school: row, row, row your boat. I'll sing it first as a song for one voice. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Now I'm going to leave this score on the screen as I sing it in four parts, and perhaps you can hear that each one of the voices enters two measures after the previous one. I suggest at some point you have some fun and freeze it and try singing it yourselves. And if you don't read music, that's okay. You can learn it easily enough just from listening to it and singing it. Plenty of people sing it without the notes. So here it is as a four-voiced round. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 lightly, lightly, stream boat, gently down the stream. Gently down the merrily, 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 lightly, lightly, merrily, your boat gently down the stream. Merrily down the stream. Merrily, gently down the merrily, merrily. Okay, well, a round is fun to sing, especially for kids, and it does stretch your mind and vocal abilities somewhat. It's all good, but there's no ideas in it. In Row, Row, Row Your Boat, the words obviously don't have any ideas, but the harmony itself is as static as the water. You never have anything but a simple C major triad. Do, mi, so. That's it. What then is different about a canon from a round? In Greek, the word canon means the law. And how might it be that a canon is the essence of the law in music? What might then be the difference between a canon and a simple round? Franz Joseph Haydn was one of the great composers in history and had a tremendous sense of humor, and he obviously placed great importance on his own canons because he waited to the end of his life to have most of them published and took about 50 of them, had them framed, and hung them over his own piano. I will submit that a simple round such as row, row, row your boat, while it may be useful for children to learn, does not contain in science what we would call a singularity, in language an irony or an ambiguity, or in music a dissonance, a poetic dissonance. And all cases might be brought under the umbrella of an idea. As I said before, row, row, row your boat, at any point you might take it, comprises only a single C major triad. Do, mi, sol, do. Let us compare that to a simple canon by Haydn. There is a biting irony in the words. I will say them in German first because it's very short and then translate it. Hier liegt Hans Lau mit seiner Frau. Eine Hühnri war Hans Lau. Was war denn? Was war seine Frau? Hans Lau is the name of a man. His Frau is his wife. Hühnri is an old German term for a cuckold, a man who has been cheated upon by his wife. And the words essentially go, here lies Hans Lau beside his wife. Hans Lau was a cuckold. But what then, oh what, was his wife? In medieval days, attention would only have been focused upon the man who was cuckolded. As we moved gradually towards equality, Haydn was simply saying, well, if he's a cuckold, then what is she? A biting irony. First, like Row, Row Your Boat, I will sing it as a single line of music, but I think you can hear that even as a single line of music, it has implications quite different. Hier liegt Hans Lau mit seiner Frau, eine Hühnri war Hans Lau. Was war denn, was war seine Frau? And now I will attempt it in four voices. And I wish I had some of my associates here to do it with me because it'd be much better. But I'm kind of isolated right now, so that's just the way that it's going to go. You can hear that dissonance is implicated even by the single line itself. And when you hear all four voices, you'll hear that there's pretty much a constant state of dissonance, which I think in a way reflects the overall dissonance or irony in what the words are saying. And it's precious for us to have some correspondence between dissonance in notes and irony in words. Because we live with so much arbitrary dissonance today that it's really hard for us to understand it. This is a kind of a Rosetta Stone, the way in which hieroglyphics were figured out by being compared to another language. And we're comparing the irony in words and the dissonance in music as the dissonance expresses that irony. Hier liegt Hans Lau mit seiner Frau. Hier liegt Hans Lau mit seiner Frau. Hier liegt Hans Lau mit seiner Frau. Why were these canons so important to Haydn? There is evidence in music that a simple discovery, as made in a canon, or perhaps the setting of a poem as a song or lied, provided the basis for a much larger work. much expansion can come from a simple discovery. We'll look at that next time.